Hello everyone and welcome to today's D&D story. Now, just recently I was able to play through a D&D 5th edition one-shot with some good friends of mine. And overall it was really enjoyable. I feel like everybody really enjoyed it. Now, for me, it's quite uncommon for me to be playing as a player in D&D. Usually I'm the GM, so this was quite a special occasion. And whenever I am playing, I usually really go in depth for my character. And the character which I played for this one shot is definitely no exception. Now, all of the players already knew that the main setting of the one shot was going to be a magical school. So I thought to myself, what kind of stereotypes could I play off of for my beautiful character? Of course, I'm also an anime fan, so, I had to put the two together. And, what that led to. You've read the title. You read the title of the video. Yep. I made a yandere in D&D, and it was a blast. So, for some background on my character, her name is Yandere Character. She is of noble birth, she is from a noble family, and she's being sent to this magical school called Torpire School of Magic to learn the arts and everything she will need to be a noble away from her family so that they don't have to worry about her. She's one of many children. However, she has a darker side to her personality. For all of you who don't already know, a yandere is a romantic stereotype in anime. Essentially, it's someone who is very interested in a certain individual and they really want a utopian sort of relationship with him, and they will do literally anything to have that relationship that they want. And if anyone gets in their way, they will literally go insane. Like, stabby insane. So yeah.
I feel like my character really turned out to be interesting. She's a human bard, so she had to be charismatic in some way, but definitely not charismatic in the traditional way. Surprisingly enough, I played her off as a quiet character most of the time, but where she really shines charismatically is intimidation and interrogation. And torture. Yeah, that too. I mean, I had a whole side of my character planned out, which I sadly didn't really get to show off at the one-shot. But I'm probably gonna incorporate Yandere Character somewhere into my world, the Wraith Globe. So, she'll be back. She'll be back. Anyway, back to the one-shot. The 4 members of the adventuring party, including Arya, were entering into Torpire School of Magic as new students. They were introduced to the Grand Mage's daughter, who led them around the school, introduced them to a few popular faces, and then chatted with them in a private room for a few minutes, accepting any questions which the party may have. My character, as soon as she was dismissed, left the room and headed to the cafeteria. However, the 3 other party members stayed behind with the daughter, asking her a few more questions. Suddenly, a messenger came into the room, handed the daughter a letter, and the party found out that she had just been accepted as the king's official mage. This was an honor that the Archmage's daughter had been striving for her entire life, and she had finally achieved it. She decided that she was going to go and tell immediately her father what had happened and that she had achieved her dream when something terrible happened. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, my character had acquired her target, and she's a yandere, so you know what that means. The boy's name was Torin, and he was athletic, tall, blonde, and quite popular among the other students of Torpire School. My character approached him, socialized with him for a few minutes, and then ended up making him a small lunch with some ingredients she had gotten. The meal went off quite well with Torin, and he enjoyed it quite a lot, when suddenly there was a scream from the corridor outside, and a cold air snuck underneath the doorway. The 3 other player characters, hearing the scream, rushed out of the room to see what was wrong, and they saw the body of the Archmage's daughter lying cold and dead on the floor. We had a mystery on our hands. They investigated the body, and it seemed as if there was some strange purple hand mark over the mouth of the Archmage's daughter. Her body was completely cold and lifeless, and it was clear that she had died. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, my character had persuaded Torn to not investigate the screen, and so she was contented in the cafeteria. However, while the 3 other player characters were investigating the corpse, guards came around the corner, saw them standing by the body, and assumed that they were the culprits, taking them immediately to the Archmage's study. From there, the players actually managed to defuse the situation between them and the Archmage, convincing him that they had not been the culprits behind his daughter's murder. Instead, they became the main investigators behind this atrocious act. Meanwhile, my character was still socializing with her senpai. By the way, for all you non-anime nerds, senpai means the person which my character is obsessively in love with. Yeah, I'm talking to you in the back. From there, the party decided to put everyone in the school into the Archmage's study so that everyone was in one place. All of the students and teachers received telepathic communication to come to the Archmage's study, and everyone assembled in a large crowd. However, before the party even had a chance to investigate anyone in the crowd, there was another murder. A young black-haired boy suddenly fell dead with the same purple hand mark over his mouth. His body was stone cold like the Archmage's daughter, and everyone was terrified that somehow the killer had managed to murder someone in the middle of a crowd. While the rest of the party investigated everyone in the crowd and tried to keep everyone calm, my character, who is slightly skilled in necromancy, decided to sneak out of the room without anyone noticing and go back to the Archmage's daughter's corpse. From there, she used Speak with Dead and asked a few questions to the Archmage's daughter, eventually finding 2 potential suspects. One who was a fellow student, a red-haired girl, who suddenly had started hating her for some reason, and also an enemy of her father, who had blamed her father for the death of a beloved friend of his. My character decided to investigate the red-haired student, and soon found her in the crowd. Meanwhile, the rest of the party decided to put everyone in the crowd back to where they had been before the second murder. They also measured the reactions of all of the students and teachers at the time of the second murder. So, they had 2 potential suspects to investigate. They also learned of the enemy of the Archmage, who had blamed the Archmage for the death of his friend. After investigating a few more potential suspects in the crowd, the party decided to let everyone out of the Archmage's study and back to their normal routines. At this point, my character had also found the red-haired student and learned that she was also interested in Torin. You know what this means. It's stabby time. From there, my character asked the red-haired girl to guide her back to her dorm, as she didn't know where it was. She got the red-haired girl alone with her, and then used Words of Terror, a special Bard College of Whispers ability, to make the red-haired girl afraid of Torin when she next saw him. My character suggested to go to the cafeteria to have some dinner, as it was getting somewhat late, and the red-haired girl agreed. However, she was in for a nasty surprise. When she first stepped into the cafeteria and saw Torin, she was frozen with fear. My character pretended to be innocent, asking the red-haired girl, "Are you okay? Come, let's get you some water," leading the red-haired girl out of the cafeteria. From there, she cast Tasha's hideous laughter on her, causing her to become incapacitated with uncontrollable laughter. My character, pretending to be even more terrified, said, "Oh, Oh, are you alright? Let me get you some water from the bathroom. She turned the corner, but then used a special ability to take the form of the Archmage's daughter. She changed into a second set of clothes, and then rounded the corner, disguised as the Archmage's daughter. The red-haired girl looked up in surprise, thinking that the Archmage's daughter was dead, but now she stood in front of her. From there, my character bombarded the red-haired girl with psychic damage, eventually killing her. The character loomed over the dead corpse and gave a slight chuckle. Yeah, you can tell I had fun with this character. She burned the pair of clothes that she was wearing, put on her other pair of clothes, and then dissipated the disguise as if nothing had happened. From there, my character got a cup of water from the bathroom and played it off as if she had just found the red-haired girl's corpse, screaming at the top of her lungs and dropping the glass of water, shattering on the floor. Everyone came running, wondering what the commotion was about, and then found the third body of that day. The rest of the party investigated the corpse and concluded that it wasn't the same murderer, but they couldn't link it back to anyone else. Suddenly, a strange shadowy figure appeared in the middle of the crowd among the other students and teachers. The party tried to investigate it, but it fled into a nearby adjacent room. The rest of the party, except for my character, went into the room immediately to see what was wrong, but my character hung back slightly, poking their head through the door, and also noticing that the rival of the Archmage, the one who had blamed him for his friend's death, was also gone from the crowd suddenly. It appeared as if he had suddenly teleported into the room where the shadow had disappeared into, and it seems as if there was some sort of summoning circle in the middle of that room, with a pile of bones in the center of it. There appeared to be shadowy forms coalescing throughout the entirety of this room, and it seemed as if the rival of the Archmage had made a deal which he may not have taken as heavily as he should have. From there, my character slipped into the room along with the rest of the party. It seemed as if a battle was afoot. One by one, we were able to take down the shadowy figures. My character launching a multitude of knives in every direction and letting out shattering bursts of sound. One of the druids of the party transformed into a giant elk and started trampling the incorporeal shadows. The other druid of the party cast Thunderwave multiple times, knocking the shadows back and causing AoE damage. The draconic sorcerer of the party continued to bombard the shadows with multiple spells and melee attacks, and soon we had defeated all of them. We spoke to the rival of the Archmage, and it seemed as if he had made a deal with these shadowy figures to get revenge on the Archmage. He had known all along that it would have caused the death of 2 students, but for him, it was a worthy price for getting back at the Archmage for the death of his friend. We took him into custody and brought him before the Archmage, and it turned out as if it had all been a misunderstanding, that the Archmage had not killed his friend or sent him into battle wrongfully. And from there, the Archmage's rival was arrested for the willing murder of 2 students of Torpire School of Magic. And that concludes the one-shot. Seriously, it was a bunch of fun. It was so much fun playing a Yandere type character. It was a blast. I specifically asked the GM afterwards if I was too obnoxious because, you know, murdering an innocent and having a heavily romantic-based character are 2 obnoxious things, but he was cool with it and it was a bunch of fun overall. I feel like everyone really enjoyed it, and you know, I'm genuinely not that good of a player. I'm a significantly better GM, so I'm really looking forward to improving as a player as time goes on. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed today's D&D story. Seriously, it is so much fun making these types of videos. If you do enjoy these types of videos, then please tell me so by hitting that like button and commenting down below. Seriously, those are the 2 best ways that you can tell me that you guys are enjoying this type of content. And if you're enjoying it, I will definitely make more of it. Anyway, you all have a great day. Keep on creating, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.